Welcome to Reunite with Self podcast. I'm your host, Rukan. Here, we will be discovering and unraveling what is truly holding you back. We will put the puzzle together and give you clarity on how and what you can do to create massive shifts in your life so you start creating the life you always envisioned for yourself. No more waiting. Whether it is liberating from dysfunctional family patterns or parenting tools and tips that actually make the difference, we will be diving into the truth and core of things that are simple and yet which no one talks about. I will be sharing with you all the things that would have changed my life massively if I heard any one of these episodes. A new world is awakening, and true bliss, harmony, and peace is possible on this earth, and my mission is to bring you closer to that one step at a time. In this safe space, I will hold your hand and give you courage and certainty that you can shift anything and everything in your life. It is time we break the pattern. Whether you want to be the parent you never had or make a shift in your life so you don't play small any longer, you will find the support and guidance in this space. My intention is for you to find your own answers within yourself while you listen to this podcast, so you feel the bliss of reuniting with your true essence, with self, with so much love and compassion and courage. From my heart to yours, let's keep it rocking. My gorgeous listener, welcome to another episode on Reunite with Self podcast. I am recording this podcast from Turkey. I came to Turkey and I missed an episode last week again. I apologize deeply. I hope that this will never happen again for a very long time. So I am creating this episode. I thought a lot about this. I contemplated a lot on the subject because I wanted to create an episode that you can go back to whenever you had like a challenging emotion or a challenging situation, something someone says, does, a small argument, usually not even an argument, like someone says something and you just feel something afterwards, like anger, frustration, deep sadness, disappointment, confusion, whatever it is. I want you to be able to go back to the episode. So please, just listen to this episode and know that you can come back to it whenever you need it. So I will keep it short so you can do your own practice whenever you need to do any inner child work. I will do this. This is an example of an inner child practice. Of course, there is like so many of them, especially like if you do one-on-one with guidance. That would be super helpful, of course. Or there is sometimes like other guided practices. I will create more of this, but this is the first thing that I came up with, which is like the simplest. I can say this is the simplest way that you can practice inner child work. So I have been contemplating on this for a while. I wasn't sure if I would be able to get an episode on this, but I wanted to go ahead and do it. Let's see. I know it's going to work somehow because if you've never done it, or maybe if you've done in the past, but you just want to remember like more details and some guidance and support on how to practice it. So please come back to this. It's going to have the title of like example of inner child practice. So you will remember. I don't know if you can save it. That's why I'm just saying, just remember to come back to this. You can come back anytime and just whatever you are going through in that moment, I know it's going to be very supportive for you. So this is an example of an inner child practice. I was hearing from someone that I admire a lot. He was saying that you can actually practice inner child work every day, even if it's for like 5 minutes every single day. And I think it's especially healing. I think it's always healing, but it's especially effective if you are in the beginning stages of a new phase in your life. Like you are at a beginning stage of a new era in your life. And doing inner child work is not as complicated as we might think. And that's why I want to talk more about this. It's not something that you have to pay someone for. Of course, it's always more helpful to do one-on-one with someone that you trust and admire and all the things, or maybe like in a group setting. But you can do this by yourself as well, and you should definitely do it on your own too. So let's begin. So whenever you have a challenging emotion coming up, especially, I don't even want to say when you are triggered, like something happens, someone says something, someone does something or doesn't do something. It's usually relational, but you can obviously use this for anything. If it's like you just start having an emotion, a challenging emotion, all of a sudden, and you remember what someone said or did. This applies 100% for all of the stuff. Because in my experience, it's usually either like someone does or says something in a subtle way that really gets me, feel challenging emotions, or I just have a moment where I am just like maybe overwhelmed or scared or frustrated or something. And then, or maybe really tired. And then I just remember something that happened in the past. Like, it all works for all of these situations. I'm sure you can think of something right now because we have experience like every single day. We have something that can be challenging, or we can just, remember a few days ago. So you can think of it that way. You can focus on something as you are listening to the episode, and you can even start applying it if you want a little bit as I talk about it. So whenever you have a challenging emotion, whenever something happens, you remember something, as you are in the challenging emotion, it's very important to know that it's not just that moment. It's never just in that moment that you're having that challenging emotion because someone at the grocery store said something, or your mom said something, or your sister said something, or your friend said something, or your colleague said something or did something. It's never just in that moment that it's happening. It is always related to something that your inner child felt, like you as a child felt. When I say inner child, when we do the work, it's not just one child. It's like you age all different ages, and whatever it is, like moment by moment, you can focus on your different ages. I'll talk about this. But when I say inner child, I believe this is how it is. I don't believe that it's like just one inner child. It's you experiencing being a child, like moment to moment in different ages, and you experiencing emotions and experiences. And those challenging emotions were never verbalized, were never expressed, were never seen and heard the right way, so that there was no repair. You just didn't know how to handle those emotions at the time because most probably you were left alone. You felt alone going through them. There was no adult support around you to hold space for you and care for you and support you and show compassion for you and just, at least like give you a long hug and show you love and presence and support. So whenever we have a challenging emotion, whatever it may be about, it doesn't matter what it's about, work, life, friendship, romance, I don't know, anything relational with your parents. It's never about that moment. The deepest struggle comes from you as a child going through similar emotions, same emotions, but different situations, going through the same emotions, but not knowing what they are, not identifying it and not knowing what to do with them and not knowing what the truth is in that moment. So whenever you have a challenging emotion, you can practice it like this. So let's go to the practice. I would definitely suggest you going to somewhere where you alone, but it doesn't even have to. You might be sitting next to someone in the car. Like, it doesn't matter. You can just like look away and focus on your inner child. And if you're at home, fantastic. If you're alone in your living room, in your room, just maybe like being cozy and comfortable, like just like lying down or sitting and just being in quiet if you can, and closing your eyes. And I always suggest putting your hand on your heart or on your solar plexus, on your belly, whatever feels good, but just feeling your hands on your body. It's very, you can like relate to yourself that way, and it's very good for your nervous system. And close your eyes, focus on the challenging emotion in your heart, and really feel the hurt and feel the deep sadness, the anger, the frustration, the feeling of not being seen, not being heard, feeling maybe disappointment or fear, hesitation, not enoughness, not being worthy. Whatever the feelings are, whatever the emotions are, just feel them in your heart, those emotions. And then if you would ask yourself, I'm not going to do like a regression therapy, but if you were to think about, like, feel those emotions, and if you were to remember an age that you were, where you might have felt the same emotions, don't question whatever comes, because it's always the right thing comes, or it will lead you to the core of things. An age will appear. You might be 3 years old, a toddler, maybe a 17-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 7-year-old. You might start seeing your surroundings at that age. It might come to you like quickly, maybe something you consciously think about, a memory, or some pattern that happened with a parent, with your father, with your mother, something like that. Or you just start seeing your surroundings and you just start looking around. And then you will start realizing where you are, who is with you, what age you are, more or less. You can say 2 or 3, you can say 3. Usually what you say in your mind is the right thing, but you don't have to like make the calculation. It's always the right thing. You always remember the right thing, the correct moment. And then you can see yourself at that age. And if you were there with him or her as an adult, you can see first what the situation is. You might understand it quickly. You don't have to see the whole situation, but it might be a moment that, maybe your mother is neglecting you. She is like working in the kitchen. You're alone in the living room. Like, you're playing with your sister or your brother, or you're alone there, or there's other people. Or if it's regarding your father, like, it's either your mom or dad most of the time first. And then it happens again in school, blah, blah, blah. But whatever comes is the correct thing, because you need to see yourself at that age, that day, because it's not something you're going to do once. We're going to repeat this, so it doesn't matter. So right now, when you see yourself, the little girl, the little boy, and you understand the situation. If you don't understand, that's a different thing, but I will just do this like a quick thing that you can apply. And if you understand the situation, maybe she's not feeling worthy, maybe he's not feeling not seen, not enough. Maybe someone is saying something to him, someone said something to him. And then if you were to be with your inner child, like you in that age, and now as an adult, you in that room with him or her. And if you were to, because you as that child is timid, is not outspoken, is not going to be maybe expressing you what she's or he's feeling right away. I might say he or she at times. And if you were to sit with him, just sit down, come to the same eye level with him, and maybe she starts telling you something, you showing your presence for her now. You are with her now, and you can start talking to her. Like, I understand you. Like, you putting your hand on your heart and really like talking to yourself, like whispering maybe, or just like talking to yourself or with your inner voice. I am with you now. I am here now. You are safe now. I will always be with you. I love you. I've always loved you, and I will always love you. I'm here with you now. I will never leave you alone. And just being patient and, how you would be with a child. Very compassionate and slow, and just letting him or her come closer to you, whatever he or she wants to do, however she wants to do it. And then maybe she will come closer to you. She knows that you are the adult. She knows that. And you can say, like, look at me now, you are safe. Maybe you can say whatever you feel is better, more healing. I believe it's more healing to tell the whole truth. Like, maybe you can say, your mom never saw you, your dad never saw you, whatever it is. Like, I am here now. I know that it was so challenging. I know it's so challenging, but I'm here with you. And the important thing is for him to talk to you, for him to express what happened as a child, how a child will talk if he was given the chance. He's not going to tell you all of the things all of a sudden. He's going to be timid about it, because there might be, the kid carries the shame that, they are a part of the thing, but they have no responsibility, but they think that. So just being in the moment and just letting him speak to you, like, tell me, now you are being a parent to that child as an adult, and just letting him talk to you. Like, what happened? Like, he will tell you something like, my dad said this, my mom did this. Again, I'm talking about the parents. It can be any example. My mom said this, my dad did this, whatever it is he's telling you. And he will tell you, maybe with tears in his eyes or crying or, just scared, tell you how he's feeling. It's important that he tells you how he feels. And you listen to him or her. You are not scared of her emotions. For the first time, maybe someone is listening, an adult loving her is listening to her emotions and not trying to change or manipulate it, and not finding excuses for the person who's done it. No excuses. Listen to her wholeheartedly without interruption. And just look into her, like you visualize this, look into her eyes with love. Be there. It's like mirror work. You are looking into your inner child's eye, you as a child. You are looking into her eyes and you are there. And if she is closer to, if she only wants that, you can like touch her, put your hand on her back, on her arm, on her hair, on her cheek, like whatever it is, but just step by step, not doing it like all of a sudden. Just exactly how you would act with a child that is seeing you for the first time, but somehow knows you. And the important thing is to let her speak. Let her talk. Let her being seen. Let her be seen in the shadows, like the parts of us that maybe, I don't want to go deep into that, not to get you into the logic, but the important thing is that the parts of us that we rejected once is our shadow, right? That's the shadow. because someone said something, your dad said something, your mom said something, you thought, oh my God, this is such a bad part of me. And you reject that part completely. That's why you might be angry at some things in life, because it's reflecting your shadow. And it's not a shadow anymore once that girl or that boy is seen. So let her talk. Let her be seen. Let her see that she's real. Like, her emotions are real, and that will make her feel real. Someone is being an adult with her for the first time. So you can wipe her tears. You can just be with her and say things like, I know it's so hard. I know it's so challenging. I know it should hurt so much. That should hurt so much. And I'm with you. And then you can start talking whenever you want and say, I will always be here. Whenever you call me, I will always be here. I will never leave you alone anymore. I will never leave you alone again. I will always be with you. I've always loved you, and I love you, and I will always love you, no matter what, because you are enough. You are wonderful. I admire you. I get so inspired by you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for everything. And you are so much stronger than you are. And then you can say other things that just comes natural to you in that moment. Like, sometimes I say things like, you are so much stronger than you think. Like, this thing that you're going through is really challenging. That's why you're feeling these emotions. This is so natural that you feel this way. You never deserve this. I will be the parent to you now. Whenever you need me, just call and I will be there. Just call on me and I will be there. I love you so much. I'm always with you. Your emotions are real. I love you. And then if she or he allows, you can give her a hug, and then you can let her sit on your lap, and then she can tell you from there. And then she will start acting a little differently. She will start be more open, maybe touch your face and be inspired by you. And you will maybe start talking about, like, yes, I'm you in the future. You will be safe. You will go through all of this. And, you can talk about the good things in your life now, and she will see that. She will be inspired by that. And just show her your presence, that you're not running away, you're not going anywhere, you are there with her, and she's just wonderful. And you can show her, like, all the love that you want. She will feel your love by the way you look at her, and there can be like love in a color that you see from your heart flowing into her heart. You can bless her in any way you want. This is just, whatever comes is the right thing. Whatever loving comes is the right thing. So it's you talking to yourself, basically. And now you can repair. It's not going to delete your past experiences, but it's going to massively shift the charge of the experiences so much. And then you can close it as however you wish. You can stay there for a little longer, and then you can say, I love you. I will always love you. I'm always here whenever you need me. Just call on me and I will be here. You are enough. You are worthy. Like, you can say any affirmation that you would say to yourself. Saying that to your inner child, I think, is 100 more effective, 100 times effective. And the important thing here is that to understand the challenging emotion that you have today is related to those parts of you. It's never related just to the adult part of you or the adult years. It's always about the inner child. And a different situation will come. Like, of course, as an adult, what you experience today, you might, go back. It might be something romantic, and then you might go back to you as a child having experience. It might be, something related to work, or just feeling enough or worthy today. And then when you go back, it might be I don't know, your school years, and you come back home and you have a feeling, emotion that you go through alone and nobody's seeing that. Or it might be like a more, like it can be anything, a charged moment today, and a differently charged moment, maybe something like seemingly unimportant moment. Usually moments that you feel, not usually, but sometimes you just go back to the moments as you were a child when it seems like it's like a usual normal day. But if you had narcissistic pattern in your family, it's usually the usual normal days that you have these things repeating tremendously. And I was going to say one more thing. The important thing is to understand this. Like whenever we have really challenging emotions today, it's usually related to us in the past. And it can even be, I would even go back to my like 20 something years too, because I was not able to really express myself, identify my emotions, create clarity on what the heck was happening, like why that parent was doing that thing to me. I just did not create clarity. I didn't know what was happening. I had these, protective mechanisms like fight, freeze, fawn, flight, whatever it is. But I would just be, it would like, it would be very challenging moments. And now I can go back to those moments that are connected to any experience today. Whenever I close my eyes, it just takes you back to the right moment. So this is not really like a regression therapy or something like that. It's not that, what can I say? I don't want to say it's not that deep. It's very deep. But maybe it's not that, you don't need that like support next to you, guiding you through something. You can do this. It's very simple, but it's very effective. It's very effective. And then you will start feeling like when you come back and open your eyes, you're going to feel different. You're going to start feeling very different because you are now showing compassion to the child in you, to yourself as a child. You are showing compassion to her or him now. Like how amazing. Like what a difference that would make, because that was the only thing that he or she needed. And now you're giving that back to her. And this is like super, I cannot tell you right now, like scientifically, like how this is effective, not even scientifically, but like I don't believe in time. So whenever we do this now, that moment starts changing. That moment in you that resided in you starts changing. So how wonderful. It makes a huge difference. And this person I was listening to in Turkish, he always says that like you can do this, like 30 minutes is amazing if you can do it daily. Maybe like not every stage in your life, but like some stages in life, some moments in life, some weeks in your life, I don't know, some days in your life. It's super effective, because when you feel like you're not being seen today, it is related to those times. And it is worth it to go back to those moments, because it's just an opportunity for you. That moment is happening today because it's just an opportunity, a door for you to heal that inside of you, because you can, and that's why it's happening. And it makes a huge difference. That's like the most compassionate thing that you can do to yourself. And it's very simple. And it's very effective. You're going to start feeling the shift, because you will truly feel like the child in you as a child, is having a different experience right now because you are there. The experience is different now because you are there. I love you so much. Come back to this anytime you need it. I love this practice so much, and I will think of doing more different like examples of inner child practices, but this is the one that I would always go back to, just instantly. And you can do it anywhere, anytime. It can be 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You can go deeper, half an hour, and just have the most fantastic time. Like afterwards, when you come back, when you open your eyes, it's just pure bliss. It's really, really comforting. You are going to experience that yourself. Different emotions might come up later because you are maybe going deeper into those experiences for the first time. And that is just natural. And that means you're doing something different. Like it will work because you are doing the work for the first time. Just depending on like where you are, what you are doing, what you are going through, layer by layer, we do this lifelong healing journey. I love you. I will see you next week. I love you so much. I will see you shine your brightest. See you next week. My gorgeous listener, if you had any takeaways from this episode or from this podcast in general, I would love to know. Please share this episode with a few loved ones right now. You never know how they can benefit from something so small. And please take a screenshot of this episode and share on IG, tagging me at Khewella. That is Khewella. Khewella. That is my goddess wear brand, my Instagram page. I would love to know what your takeaway was or something you found inspirational or a confirmation you believe in as well. That would make my day. And you can always DM me if you have a topic or a certain question in mind that you want me to talk about. And give me a 5-star rating if you feel like it. That would help this podcast immensely to get the word out. I love you. See you on the next one. I want to see you shine your brightest.